All right, this is 7.3, example 1. Very, very similar to the instructional example. So I'm not going to spend too much time explaining. Well, I'll explain, of course, as I go through it. But right away, as soon as you see you have an absolute value equation, you have to think that I have the absolute value of the positive case and the absolute value of the negative case. Now, I didn't do this in the instructional because I really don't think it's a worthwhile technique if you're going to verify anyway. But what you could do is find the values of x that satisfy both of those cases. We are taking the absolute value of a positive number when x is greater than 3, and we're taking the absolute value of a negative number when x is less than 3. And the way that I determined that is I took the inside of the absolute value and then determined when it was positive. And we do that by just adding 3 to both sides. So x minus 3 is greater than 0 when x is greater than 3. And I hope logically that x minus 3 is less than 0, therefore when x is less than positive 3. Now, one of the nice things about doing that, it's not going to help for this question, but in the future, if you've done that and you get an answer that's outside of that inequality, then you don't even have to verify it. You know that it's incorrect because it doesn't meet kind of the initial conditions. Now, I am going to be much more consistent with just immediately identifying the absolute value of the positive case, the absolute value of the negative case, and then solving from there. So if it's the absolute value of a positive, that absolute value doesn't need to be there. It's not going to do anything. So it is just x minus 3 is equal to 7. I'm going to add 3 to both sides. I get that x is equal to 10. And while I'm here, I'm going to verify. To verify that, the absolute value of 10 minus 3 should be equal to 7. That's the absolute value of 7 is equal to 7. And we know that that is true. So that is one of our solutions. X is equal to 10. If it's the absolute value of a negative, then the expression inside the absolute value gets multiplied by a negative 1. We have to distribute that negative on. I get negative x plus 3 is equal to 7. I'm going to subtract that 3. Negative x is therefore equal to 4. When I divide by negative 1, I get that x is equal to negative 4. And again, to verify this answer, I plug it back into the original. And so what that's going to give me is the absolute value of negative 4 minus 3 is equal to 7. The absolute value of negative 7 is equal to 7. And that does indeed give me 7 is equal to 7. Okay, that's example 1. I'm going to keep going and do example 2 right after.